by the camera. Make that ball.
University, the second installment of this season. I'm Alex Corbacero, and with me is Colin Hawley. And our first game sees Cal Berkeley, last tournament's champions, taking on Stanford University. Colin, you know this field and these teams very well. Welcome to the show.
It's a great rugby morning this Saturday. The Berkeley boys coming over from the other side of the bay to come here at Stanford. Lots of rugby here, lots of rugby history. Actually, in my years at Cal, we played every single national championship on this pitch. And here we go. Grudge match coming in from the Cal Berkeley Bears against Stanford.
Kickoff is good. It's tapped back by Berkeley as well. They keep possession out wide. They look to distribute it here. Going out wide through the hands as they switch on the sideline. The big man, Seamus Dealey, moves the ball well. And there is a line break through the middle. Fantastic play as Masi Koi with the try there, and that gets Berkeley off to a blistering start, Cal. Colin, you should be probably pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's always when you start the first game of the weekend tournament, and it's how do you start? So you got a great kickoff. It went 10. Santos went down there, tapped it back, maintained possession, and it was just simple hands out to the edge. Nice switch on the corner from Dealey, and he just got through the back. And Coy just found a seam on the inside from Stanford and went right through. I mean, that's when you got to wake up and you got to play rugby right out the gate here early in the morning. Caught Stanford sleeping on just that return phase.
Well, I'm sure Coach Billups and Jack Clark will be thrilled with that. Like, obviously, they won the last tournament, but probably a little bit of a slow start getting off that long bus ride here. Not far for them to travel, and they hit the ground running. As that kickoff is up in the air, Dealey competes. They get it back. Referee deems it was not the full 10. It was right on a knife edge there, but Stanford tap, and now they look to move the ball as they go back down the right-hand side through the hands as they're tackled, but the offload is good in the tackle. Breakdown pressure from Berkeley, though. Referee says ball was available. Play on as they move it left. A kick ahead by Stanford, not something you see in 7's too often. Gathered by Coy of Berkeley as he looks to counterattack, and this is where Berkeley are dangerous. They have speed for days as Brian Bognay makes the break, finds number 12, Oliver Newell, and he does all that he needs to do to get that try, and that's 2 for Berkeley just like that.
Hey, you mentioned it, just the kick from Stanford out of the hand. You can do that in 7's, but it's usually pretty hard to go ahead and have that pressure for the kick. Your kick's only as good as the kick chase. Nice job by Coy getting his hands free, and there was just 4 Bears on their feet on the edge. It was simple hands out of the outside, and then it looked like Newell just stepped back on the inside of the outside defender, and it was all the way to the sticks.
Very, very clinical from Berkeley, and probably Stanford maybe shouldn't have kicked that one in the middle of the field because it did feel very costly for them. You know, you're not going to have the same structure and defense off kick chase as you will in 15s, as now they look to kick off with Solomon Williams. Lovely play there as it's gathered. Excuse me, not Solomon Williams. Philippe Edstrom there as Bognay passes almost intercepted by Stanford. Referee deems 2 hands. Fair catch attempt, so we will have a scrum here for Stanford. And they're looking dangerous off those kickoffs, Colin. They're starting to get the ball back. That is one of the recipes for success in 7's.
When you restart the ball, and if you can reclaim it, you can literally starve the opposition of possession. You just got to make sure it goes 10, and you want to get about 4 seconds of hang time in there for that chaser to get down, then ladder up and compete for that ball. We're seeing a lot of knockbacks to your side, so you want to have that sweeper back as Cal gets on the attack.
They get the free kick, they move it. Coy with a bit of a loose offload, but it's gathered very well from Berkeley as Coy goes again. He has ball in hand, moves it through the hands. Oh, lovely show and go there as the offload. Is it coming? No, they recycle the ball. Santos with the pass. Out to Edstrom, who moves it to Dealey, who moves it out there to Oliver Newell. He's got a double already. Absolutely fantastic from Cal, and this is poetry in motion. This is slick 7's. These are the reasons why. These are your defending national 15 champions, but also last time on the West Coast college 7's as well, Colin.
It's a lot of discipline on that 7's pitch. When you saw Stanford, there was one defender on the outside. You've got to connect with that interior defense if you're Stanford. Let them score on the edges if you can. You can kind of use that touch line as another defender, but if you leave gaps in that middle of the field in 7's, people are too fast, players are too fast, especially on Cal. They're going to go right through.
Yeah, the switch has been very effective for Cal on those wide channels. It's pretty much led to a try every time, and that's something Stanford are going to have to fix, as you've got Edstrom with the kick again, and it is an absolute beauty. Dealey goes up, they tap it back, and this is the recipe for Cal. They have kept possession. Referee, though, says no release at the breakdown. That's a penalty against Stanford as Coy taps. And now they're moving it through the hands. Santos with the ball goes over Bogney to Newell. Newell again showing he has been a handful out on that wing. Santos with the break. He bites in the Stanford defense. They move it through Edstrom. Missed pass to Dealey now as well. The big man with the fend. What's he going to do? He takes contact. Cal recycle again. Edstrom with the ball to Santos, to Bogney. He now has a go. He pins his ears back. The big man not going to get stopped there on the wide channel. And that is another absolute beauty from Cal as they are starting to run away with this one.
I mean, what a play on the edge by Brian Bonnier. Just, he had a player outside of him, and he saw the defense a little bit back foot. He put his head back and just pinned his ears back to the touchline and says, try and stop me, and ran him over to the touchline. But great job by Cal. Nice job on the kickoff, and just letting the ball do the work, getting out to the edge, and letting these big runners and Dealey and Bonnier on the edges really get physical on the corners and see if they can stop them first.
28-0. They are running away with this one. And, you know, Stanford look a little blitzed out here. We've got to also say, you know, they are, you know, not a varsity program, where Cal is probably the, you know, example of what a varsity program looks like in the United States, and they're showing it on the scoreboard. Edstrom with a kick. They go deeper this time. Stanford gather, but into touch. That'll be a line out for Berkeley right on the 22. Oh, yep, referee, yep. Touch changes arm. It is Cal's ball. I'm not crazy. And yeah, Brian, the kickoffs, you know, they've got possession back every time so far, except for that one that was just short.
On a 7's team, having a great kicker that can do that drop kick and, you know, put it on the 10-meter mark of 4 seconds, but also change it up, switch sides, and go to the 22. Very dangerous.
Oh, as they move the ball now as well. Edstrom using the width, as Cal have a go on the edge, and that is sensational work. As Emmett Cook shows that, you know, it's not just the big men on this side and Newell and Bogney who are on fire. They can all do it, as Cal really finished that first half in pristine fashion. That is 7's right now. You know, the U.S., you know, heyday of Olympics and Mike Friday's era, where they were very competitive, was built on the kickoffs, and that's something that Cal have done so well so far.
It really begins and ends with that kickoff. Possession is so key in 7's, and getting that ball back, and you've seen how much possession Stanford has had, and it's really Cal dominating those kickoffs and getting into the phase play afterwards, working it out to the edges, letting the big guys and the fast guys do their work on the corners.
Yeah, and that is the half right now. As you're looking on our tape, it was the line out, and then Cook, one man to beat, drops the shoulder and under the sticks. And you know, for Stanford, you got to wonder what they're saying in this tournament. It's going to be a long day. There's plenty more games to play. For Cal Berkeley, I'm sure you're saying, same again, lads. Same again. Be clinical. Don't drop our standards. They've shown really, you know, that what rugby 7's look like. They've got very experienced out there with Jack Clark laying it down for them as well. As Stanford are looking a little bit of a dejected there, but these guys are, you know, up against the beast in this tournament, and sometimes you've got to be tested by the fire early to wake up and get into the competition.
Yeah, it's one of those times if you're Stanford, right, and you've got some systems you put into the training paddock. You want to come out here and play your brand of rugby. You know, Cal's very powerful, very talented. Make sure you play your systems. Play the game how you want to play it. Make sure your defense is connected. If the guys are scoring, make sure they're scoring on the edges. Having that interior defense there is great. Challenge the breakdowns, make your tackles. And when you have the ball, the one time they had it, they kind of kicked it away within Cal territory. That's prime possession. So you're getting a lot of experience of what you do under under pressure against a top side like Cal.
Yeah, their defense has been tested, but I completely agree with you, Colin. It's got to be possession that they need to focus on now to make sure that they're able to have a crack. It's all been defense, and against the weapons of Cal, that's not going to be enough. They have to hold on to the ball, and they have to try and stress them, and then have a chance to get some points on the board. As Stanford look to kick off, it's shorter there as the kick comes from Kennedy, and it's gathered by Coy, and he is back at the races. No one is going to catch him. And just like that, all that halftime talk, you're probably saying we got to do this better, we got to do that, and Cal just go and run away with it again. It's a tough one to take.
Yeah, it's one of those systems breakdowns. If you're Stanford, you have that kick, and obviously it wasn't a high one, but as you're running up, you bracket, you call out who's got ball, and you kind of line your defense up. That's a defensive work on the game film afterwards for Stanford. You got to go ahead and come up there and set your defense and make sure you get that tackle.
Absolutely, and it's just been, you know, all one-way traffic so far, as now Michael De Beer looks to kick off, and you know, let's see if he can produce the same hang time that has been Cal's one of their secret weapons out there today so far on this kickoff. And they go deeper. It's gathered by Stanford. They move the ball. This is more like it. Can they keep possession? The pass and the offload, but a big hit from Bognier. They compete at the breakdown. Referee gives it. That is a turnover. The tap from De Beer as Cal looked to move it. Coy again on the outside. He's been a handful. Oh, with a show and go in one hand. That is rugby sevens. That's what we came here to see. Absolutely outstanding, Colin. You love that, don't you?
Oh, I love it. It's a bit of and one rugby. When you got a decent lead there, then the creative flair comes out, and Coy certainly has that bit of X factor that you want to see on the sevens pitch. It's like, watch out for this guy. He's a bit of a hot stepper. He's got a move or two. You just saw a little bit of a one-hand show to pull that defender out and then dart through the gap, and that's all you need with those fast sevens players. That little bit of space is just deadly.
Absolutely. He has been an absolute handful out there, a menace, you might want to say. Every time he's had the ball, he's looked dangerous. He's done the nuts and bolts well, but he's also brought a bit of the champagne with him as well, with the flashy stuff, which is what we love to see on the sevens pitch. Champagne rugby, I should say. De Beer again goes. They go a little deeper. Stanford gather, but it almost bobbled. They hold the ball, and it's a break now. Show and go, but the Berkeley team are working back as Cal make a huge tackle there. Jack Bizio with the big hit. They're spilling the ball, and that's heartbreak for Stanford. That's been their one moment, their one line out. I mean, one line break, but it just shows the hustle on D from Cal.
Yeah, it's a great break by Stanford in the middle, found a bit of a seam, and right there, when you have open grass in front of you, there's so much space in sevens. We talk about having it to end well. You've got defense come at your back. Make sure you connect with that pill and your outside support, but great defense there from Cal coming back, making that tackle from behind the offensive player and getting that turnover.
And now they're at the scrum to Cal. As they play, they switch back down the short side, but it's spilled. This could be a chance for Stanford if they can gather it. They do, so they have advantage here. As Gua makes the break, they recycle, but it spills out. It's a knock-on. I believe referee will take it back to the first infringement, which he does, which was a knock-on from Cal. That means a scrum to Stanford, and you know, they just got to find a way to hold onto the ball. It's a little greasy on the floor, and it seems to just be that they haven't quite had the same soft touches that Cal have so far in this game.
Those moments in sevens when a Cal knocks on the ball and you get that turnover, that is such an important moment for sevens to take advantage of that possession. Right there, you had probably about 4 Stanford players on their feet on the outside and about 5 Cal players within 10 meters. You really got to have that awareness, and as they get better as this tournament goes on and Stanford grows as a squad, it's that moment and that sense of awareness to move that pill out to the outside and get back into your offensive shape.
Fantastic stuff there. As you know, this game looks to get away. Colin Hawley, a legend in the collegiate sevens world, giving you top analysis. Stanford putting it in. Early push from Cal there. Referee deems that. They tap and go. It goes through the hands, but again, it's almost bobbled. but they keep possession here. Strong tackle from Cal as they counter-ruck as well. Referee deems that's legal, could be playing on the floor. Yep, it's going to be a penalty against Stanford. You can't play it on the floor once you're tackled, but the work at the ruck meant there was nothing, and that is proper rugby there. Line break into the offload. Absolutely Oliver Teague, it looks like, from here with the try. And Cal just showing that they're not only a possession team, they're hustling on D, and those turnover transitions are where they're striking like lightning.
When you find your advantage at the breakdown, Stanford had the ball and just getting over and pushing on that ruck and getting that turnover, getting that penalty from holding on. And it was just a quick tackle. They attacked right away. That's what I mean. Those turnover balls, it's so important to go ahead and attack that defense because they're trying to figure out where they're going to be. And just with that line right off the inside, the outside hip of the ball carrier, support scores tries in rugby, especially in sevens, you're going to find those gaps all the time.
And this one's getting a little ugly. 54-0 to Cal. Stanford need to try and find a way just to get on the scoreboard. Would be a nice one to cap because, you know, Colin, sometimes you got to test yourself against the best to know what it even feels like. And these boys would have learned a lot, as much as the scoreboard might not show that. They take the kickoff though, they gather, but again it's the counter ruck of Cal. Something they've been so deadly with is Warren gets the ball to Bogne, and he gets the try there as well. And that has just been the story of the game. They're either holding possession, they're getting it back off the kickoff, and even the breakdown is something where Stanford are really struggling to keep possession. The nuts and bolts of Cal have been on form so far.
One of the biggest lessons learned when I first started coming up in collegiate rugby is how quick that breakdown is from the top teams. If you're not there with, we call it hands-on for that ball carrier to really get over the ball and protect it, those guys are coming over and blowing up that ruck, and you're going to have a turnover. So a lot of work-ons there for Stanford. One man has to get over the ball, protect that pill, and make sure they maintain possession. Cal doing a great job finding those opportunities, moving the ball away quickly, and finding those seams as Stanford's defense is trying to reorganize.
And that probably one of the missteps of Cal we've seen all game as De Beer puts that one straight out to touch. So it'll be a tap on the center field for Stanford. And let's hope they can finish with something, because it's been a very, very one-sided game so far out there as they tap and they look to go. They move the ball. They take the pass. Dancing tackle, but again there's breakdown pressure from Cal. Referee deems that's legal. That's a turnover. You can't hold it on the floor, Stanford there. They get caught, and you can see Cal, they're raring to go as Kamitsky taps, and now he's going. As he's on the way, he does it all himself. He says, guys, watch this. I'm going to do something special. You saw him hustling for the ball, and Colin, we go again here.
You know, when you're at 7's pitch, sometimes you just got to be aggressive, and I'm going to be a ball carrier right now. And Kamitsky went ahead and got that ball out, quick tap, went straight forward, and just looked like Stanford in the middle of those seams. When you're hitting that gap, somebody has to call my guy, my tackle, and if you're looking at each other, it's like, I thought you had him. You know, it's a bit of Stanford right there, but good job by Stanford. Lots to work on, lots of rugby to play today, and Cal looking very, very strong.
That is an impressive start from Cal, as that is the final whistle in this game, and that leaves us, the conversion is good. Cal 66, Stanford nothing. Statement start for last tournament's champions there. That is how you announce to the rest of the guys that, you know, the champs are here.
Yeah, when you see Cal come out, they kind of did what they wanted to do there. One mistake, kicking that